that that'll be up in end of the day for sure. So thank you all for joining us. It's great to see you guys, and it's great to have people join us remotely afterwards to watch the recording. My name is Erik Owens. I'm the director of the IS program and a faculty member in theology as well. And I'm joined by Professor Nakazato, who is one of our leading lights here as associate director of the program and a director of undergrad studies. And his background is he's trained as a political scientist. And together, the two of us are the primary faculty leaders of the IS program, and we are the people who supervise the peer advisors. So you'll be working with us closely. And so I appreciate Professor Nakazato coming to talk about this as well. And we've also have with us three of our current peer advisors, Ben, Adele, and Alex. Thank you all three for coming. We'll have them share some of their experiences as well about being a peer advisor, and we'll take your questions. So let me just start by outlining a little bit about what the program's about, why we have peer advisors. I'll say at the outset that our team of peer advisors are enormously important to us. Like they are a huge part of the program, both in terms of things that get done by our program, events that we hold, peer advising for students, and contact points that form a bridge between students and faculty and the administration and things. But really more importantly, in terms of being leaders and mentors and the face of the program in so many ways. On Sunday, several of our peer advisors will be talking to admitted students and their parents. We have you meet with freshmen and do recruiting with us. We have you go to classes and talk about the program. You're really ambassadors to our program, and you also help make it work. So we want to bring into this leadership team a group of people who are have diverse experiences, that are hardworking, they're great communicators, that want to make this program as good as it can be for everybody, not just for ourselves, but for everybody who might not think that it's for them, or who might not think that they fit into the, to the super confident, everybody knows them sort of thing. We want everybody who wants to be an IS major and who is accepted into the program to be fully a part of it. And everybody who's not in our major who wants to be a minor is included as well. It's important to us to have resources to make people understand their opportunities to get involved in the program and to represent our program around the university and even outside of the university. So there's two primary categories of work that happen as a peer advisor. One of them is literal peer advising, meaning that you are talking to other students in the program, usually younger students, but sometimes also students in your class, your grade year, about making it successfully through the major. You're given special training about working through the student advising handbook that our faculty and students use. We'll talk to you about problem solving and who to ask for help and what the rules are. And you'll learn a lot about what happens, why the rules exist as they are, why we've made decisions about taking one class and not another, so that you can explain some of this to students and have a better sense of what the situation is. There's a million cases where students ask questions that need resolution, and peer advisors are a really important part of that. So you get training about the rules, and you learn about the pathway through the major and the minor, but you also draw on your own experience. You think about the ways you came to Boston College, how you chose the major, what classes you've taken, ones that you think have been successful for you and ones that you think haven't. You're listening to other people talk about what classes have been excellent or what fulfills these requirements, or et cetera. And you're using your own experience as well. So it's not simply like we tell you what to say to people by any means. We want your experience to be shared with other students. So you'll be talking about things like admission to the program, application to the program, differences between majors and minors, what's required for graduation, what counts for language requirements, what classes might be good, which faculty members are great to work with, how do you make the most out of studying abroad, how do you write a thesis, what does it mean to consider writing a thesis or not, how do you find an internship, how do I interact with alumni. All these are things that peer advisors do and talk with our students about, and they work with faculty and alumni and administrators to get the good information that they need to share that. So peer advising is literally peer advising is one part of it. And that may only be, 20 minutes of your week, 1 week, or it could be 3 hours of your week another week, depending on admission cycles and, registration period and things like that. So that varies quite a bit. The other part of the job is what I would call being a program assistant. And in that sense, you're a part of the IS program staff. We have administrative assistants and administrators who put the courses into the course system, and people who help you complete your audit to graduate. And we have people who help set up events, and we have, people, deans, who tell us what's okay academically and things like that. There's a whole cluster of people related on the staff side and academic staff side that are involved in programs, and peer advisors become part of our IS program staff. And you work together to do all the things our program does. Every week you worked collaboratively to produce the weekly newsletter that goes out to all of our majors and minors, but also about 800 other people that are alumni and faculty and students around. It's a big operation with a lot of things that go into it that might not be apparent when you just receive it in your inbox each day, but each Monday. But it's a big operation. Peer advisors lead that process. Peer advisors, as program assistants, also help work on the website. You don't actually do any programming or anything, but you're helping with understanding what content needs to go there. You're helping with lists of approved courses that go up before registration each time. You're helping with organizing academic events, lectures, and things like that. We figure out, who to invite and where to hold them, and how do we recruit students, and how do we promote it on social media. You help to organize career conversations with alumni from different areas of work, consulting and business and diplomacy and law and et cetera. And then you lead a variety of different special projects, whether that special project is like planning the senior send-off event, or whether it's a special community lunch for concentrators of a certain sort. You guys get to decide the things that matter to you, and we talk about it together. And I try to empower everybody to the extent of the resources that we have in our program to do those things. If you have an idea of the way that would make people, international students, feel more welcome here, let's host that event. If you have something that you want to have a conversation around people interested in Iran, let's figure that out. It's really a lot of ground up activity that happens from the ground up. Activity that student leaders, really help set the tone for what happens here. And that's really important. So in both of these roles, as peer advisors and as program assistants, you're really visible leaders in the IS program. And I encourage you, I'm hiring people who I think will be proactive, who will try to seek out ways to build our community, to make it feel more inclusive, but also more exciting, more interesting, more rigorous in a way, in terms of like challenging ourselves intellectually and morally about the world around us, and to integrate classroom and non-classroom activities in ways that Boston College talks about as being a whole person sort of education. We don't want to separate the things that are in the classroom from the things that we read in the news or the way we talk to each other. These are all part of a holistic piece. And as a program, we want to encourage that and help make that happen. So you would be working closely with me and Professor Nakazato in particular, along with one of our staff assistants here in the building, Maria Ordonez. But we have weekly staff meetings where all of our peer advisors meet and talk about what we've done for the week and what needs to be done for the week ahead. And then each of you would work an additional 4 or 5 hours each week, coming into the office usually to lead projects that we spread out over the course of the year. Everybody is asked to help contribute when needed, but we try to assign clusters of people in charge of different activities like recruitment or alumni or the newsletter or events or things like that. We spread that across our different peer advisors and have collaborative teams to do the work that needs to be done. So finally, I'll say that, and that's in person here at the Connolly House almost all of the time, except when you do remote advising work. When students want to meet with you on Zoom or something like that, you can do that from anywhere. The last thing I'll say is that we're looking, as I said, for people who bring a diversity of experiences with them, different backgrounds, different language experiences, different classes, different tracks, different places you're from, different interests that you want to go to. That helps us have better inputs and better mentoring. So there's no particular thing you need to have done or do or want to do to be a peer advisor. There's no background you need to have. We want to build a complementary team with a variety of experiences and interests so that we can have that diversity represented in our peer advising. and help make our program stronger. So that's my pitch for what the process is like. Let me ask our peer advisors to add anything they'd like for just a couple minutes apiece about your insights into the experience, and then we'll open up for questions. Adele, do you want to start?
Sure. So, hi guys, my name's Adele. I'm a senior. I'm an ESJ concentration, and I'm also a minor in environmental studies. I wanted to do this role because I wanted to be a bit more involved with the IS program. And I have a background in taking Korean, and then I studied abroad in Korea. And Professor Ingu Huang runs the Global Korea Project, or he works with the Slavic Studies Department to run events like that. And so there's a lot of Korea related events that the IS program kind of supports. So I haven't had the opportunity to be as involved this semester, but that was kind of one of my interests, and also just providing more support to students, because I didn't have an IS department advisor until like my junior year. And so oftentimes I would leave my advising meetings kind of unsure as to what I was supposed to be taking. So it's been really great to kind of support students and mentor on a more individual level. And also, it's just been a pleasure getting to know Nakazato and Owens, and get to know some other seniors I hadn't met till this year. So a great way to kind of provide your own insight and put your own flavor of things into events and mentoring and whatnot. So it's been a great experience.
Terrific. Thanks. Alex?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm also a senior. I'm a CC concentration, and I'm going to echo everything that Adele said. But kind of to add on to that, I think the cool part about IS is that it's a smaller community. It's more tightly knit kind of program. So, and I hadn't really known a lot of people outside of the senior class. And so I think being able to help them with any problem it is, like study abroad or course registration or internships or volunteering or whatever it might be, I think being able to lend some of the experience that I've gained over the past 4 years to maybe help them or help advise them, whatever it might be, I think that's really impactful. And I think it was great to get to know other people in the IS program that I wouldn't have gotten to know, especially in the freshman class, which it's really fun to see this new group of people who are accepted into the major, who are very excited about it and want to talk about it, and to kind of reflect on my 4 years and share whatever insights I have to. So I think it's a good way to get to know other people and kind of lend some of that wisdom that you've gained over the 4 years or 3 years in your case. But I just think it's a great job, and I really enjoyed it.
Terrific. Thanks. Ben?
Yeah, so definitely echoing what Alex and Adele said, but yeah, when I came into BC, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and so I was sort of putting together the IS application, and I spoke with a peer advisor, and it was hugely helpful, and I got accepted, obviously. And then later, I guess it was the end of freshman year, I went to the end of year social that they had put on that year, and I was like blown away. I was like, the community of this major, how nice everyone is, like this is an academic environment and not just that, like a social environment that I felt so welcome to. And I went alone as a freshman, and it was amazing. And so I took that experience, and then when there was the opportunity to be a peer advisor, I was like, I want to help make that possible for other people. So yeah, having the experience now of going abroad and working with an amazing team that has experiences with internships. Some of us are writing theses, some of us have taken, we've all taken a wide range of classes. It's hugely rewarding to get to chat with people about this now. So yeah, I love it, and it's a great team to work for.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, it reminds me, like, when we have a social event, we'll tell our peer advisors, go find someone who looks lost, who looks nervous, and go chat them up, make them feel welcome, and help introduce them to other people, other faculty, other students, and things like that. That's one of the jobs that seems small at the time, but can make a huge difference. Just like you're saying, Ben, that moment where you go to a scary thing where there's 100 people out there and you walk in alone and you kind of are like, oh God, gulp. And then, it just takes one person or two people to really be open and to bring that person in, and it can be transformative. And you guys would be that people for other people, and that's enormously rewarding. Good. So thanks so much, all three of you. I should note that if you're a rising junior, we would have you employed. This is a paid position, of course, but we would have you employed only the semester that you're here on campus. We don't expect you to be active as a peer advisor while you're abroad. We want you to focus on your time abroad and don't want to expect anything from that. So it would just be one semester. And as a result, we typically hire 2 juniors for the job. So you swap out roles in the year, and then we hire usually 4 seniors for the role. And just to give you a mental model, we will have usually 30 to 40 applications. So we have a lot of interest in the program, and we'll do a first round of reviewing applications, and then we'll do a round of interviews, and then we'll make a hiring decision. And all that will be done by graduation time. So you'll have a sense of your jobs next year. If you're looking at other employment or things like that, we want to try to get that done as early as we can. Okay, so what questions can we answer for you guys? Or you can, of course, ask the other peer advisors too.
I don't so much as have a question. I mean, I was trying to think of things to ask, but after like the peer advisors and then your introduction and everything, I feel like all my questions that I had were kind of answered. But I do have a comment, kind of what Ben was saying about like his first time at like the welcome social. I remember last year my friend and I had gone to the IS welcome social, and Adele probably doesn't remember this, but she had come up to my friend and I and like talked to us about like being a major and what we were thinking about for abroad and classes and everything. And it was just so helpful, and it made us feel really, really excited and just feeling like really welcome to the program. And that was like a memory that I just like have about IS and just feeling like immediately welcome to the community. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciated that.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. Adele's great. And so our other peer advisors for those reasons. They're things you guys do naturally. Their peer advisors do naturally. Sometimes we like remind you, go out and do this, but like this is who the people are that we want to hire, who see that. And also people who are super stoked about nuclear deterrence or about gender policy or about, Korean culture or about whatever. Like we want people who are all in for the program and can combine those things to demonstrate what it means to be an integrated person in our program, that is intellectually engaged and is morally engaged and sometimes spiritually engaged and also engaged as a community builder. So thank you, Dylan, for saying that. That's nice.
Thanks, Dylan. I actually do remember you. So it's really cool to see you here again. And it's crazy how time flies. I remember talking to you as a freshman, and now you're applying for this. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
If I can add in, and in some ways, Ben, Adele, and you, Dylan, have sort of touched on it, and more importantly, Professor Owens, to be a peer advisor, it's a rather remarkable set of skills needed. We do want outgoing candidates, that they're willing to talk to people, that we send them out to talk to the freshmen saying, hey, there's this cool major. So you have to be outwards going. But the same time, for a lot of the bits that the IS program requires, attention to detail is hugely important. You guys do the first run of assembling the courses available next semester and then the next semester. And so the attention to detail is really important. And then just also time management. We punch out a weekly newsletter, and that is a lot of moving parts. And so we assign those, and all the different tasks are usually assigned to 1 or 2 lead peer advisors. And we have, weekly meetings to sort of coordinate. So all of this basically, and we can't tell immediately offhand who's got all these skill sets, but, we try to get to know you as candidates, and then hope, it all works out, that you get along with each other, you get along with the faculty, you get along with our staff, in the sense that stuff gets done when we need it done. So we can't send the newsletter out 2 days late. We can't, have the courses that are for next year 2 weeks late. I mean, students are already asking immediately, where's the next year's, courses? We're working on it. And so all of this comes down to, Professor Owens is a pretty good judge of character on these things. So we've been very lucky every year in assembling a great team. And that's what we're looking for. People that mesh together well, but also have a very good outwards personality. And then slightly type A in how obsessively can't get the stuff correct, because that's important. And anyway, that's my point.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it's, I want to indicate that this is what you might call it, service leader position where you're serving other people by leading. And so much of the reward is in service to others. But I do want to add that there's intrinsic rewards of getting to know the program and the faculty and the university more deeply than you might otherwise do. And that creates this great sense of community among the peer advisors across years. And with guests who come to us, you just get a richer view of what the program is about, and therefore make it richer yourself. And that's something that is really invaluable. And we really work hard to create an environment here, a culture where it is a community in addition to being a major, and that's something that's super rewarding too. Other questions or concerns or comments? No, all good. Yeah, Dylan, go ahead.
About the newsletter, is that like a part of the program where you're assigned to it the entire semester that you're a peer advisor, or does it like switch off like weekly depending on like the people, or is it like something that you just stay working with for the newsletter, if that makes sense?
Yeah, Adele's been in the point person for our newsletter this year. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sure. So last semester, it was me and one other person, Lauren Noon, that we were mainly working on it. But I think the workload was a little much, especially what I had going on. So this semester we've kind of changed that. And essentially what we would do is like, Lauren and I would look for events to put in, internships. We were kind of doing all that. Plus every week we add in a student spotlight and a faculty spotlight. And so we would throw those in every week. Just because of some of the stuff I had going on, the commitment became a little too much. So this semester, I've kind of taken a little back end role. And now Ben has been, shout out to Ben, he's been gathering all the student spotlights. So if any of you haven't done it, I know he is looking for some students to highlight. I don't know if
you're all getting an email after this.
That's right. I think one of the points, one point to make here is that the project, like the newsletter, isn't just like pressing send. Like there's a huge amount of stuff that goes into making it a compact thing. We get dozens of emails a week from people who want to advertise stuff with us, or graduate programs, or events off campus, or all this crazy stuff that comes in. We try to, instead of just forwarding that out to you, and so you have a million things in your inbox, we curate and consolidate into a useful thing that helps you understand what are events and issues that are happening on campus that are related to global studies in some very broad way. We don't advertise some things because it's not related to global or international issues unless it's a really important BC thing. But otherwise, we try to curate that. And then we consolidate into things, and then we're getting student voices to thing doesn't just magically happen. We have to recruit people to do that, and finding postcards and all that stuff. So different peer advisors work on recruiting, reaching out to friends, but we don't just want it to be a friend network, right? Shouldn't be a cliquey thing where only people we know get to be represented or have voices there. So we try to find multiplier effects, go visit classes, send things out to smaller groups and invite them personally, get friends of friends. So that takes work to do that, to be more inclusive, and then to produce it in a way that's aesthetically digestible. It looks good, but also is readable. So there's a lot of different skill sets, and we break that into different sections sometimes, where someone's in charge of the career section, and someone's in charge of the global conversation section, and but then Adele has been leading the point for the final proofing and arrangement. So over the weekend, she and I bounce back things, and other people do proofreading, and then it gets approved on Sunday and sent out on Monday. So there's a lot of, someone needs ultimately to take responsibility for, is it ready to go? But there's a lot of inputs that happen. That's one example of a project that takes many, many hands and lots of work, and it doesn't necessarily appear that way when you receive it in your inbox and you skim over it. But it's a lot of work. But it's also extremely important because it's a marker of, it's a record in a way. We can't update our website like that every day or every week. We just don't have the staff or the resources to do it. So the newsletter becomes our place of record where things are happening, and so that's a really crucial thing that takes a lot of hands. And we also base that on what students, what peer advisors, their skill sets they bring in and what they want to do. You know, if someone's like, I've done, social media for 3 years for this club and I love it, I'm so good at it, then, frequently we'll put them in charge of social media stuff with input from everyone else, and so that it sets the right tone and has inputs. But other times nobody is really like saying they have, particular skills in one area. And so we group together and have multiple people work on it and keep talking about it.
I'd also say it's kind of been fun on the design end of the newsletter. Like I've had some fun changing up like the colors and the fonts. And when there's been some major glitchy crises, I've had to pull out some coding skills, which have been fun. So, I mean, not to overwhelm you, but definitely if there are like things you're more interested in doing, and I've kind of liked website design and graphic design, or just like kind of learning new interfaces, the newsletter is a great way to kind of practice those skills. And MailChimp is its own beast. That's the software we use to develop the newsletter. That's kind of its own beast that you can kind of conquer, and actually that's a great skill to have like on your resume as well. But there's definitely different things. Like Ben and Alex have done more careers, or Delphine as well has done more like career recruiting stuff. So like kind of networking with students and telling them about the program. So there's definitely different skill sets that you can kind of fine tune in this like role.
Yeah, we use MailChimp for that, and Slack for our regular messaging and communication, and of course Google Docs and things like that, and Sheets to share across, do collaborative docs. And a lot of the students use Canva to do stuff, imaging stuff. I can do Photoshop stuff or whatever. It doesn't really matter. We're looking at product rather than software, but we'll probably stick with MailChimp, and Slack is easy to learn. So, okay. Without any other questions, last chance for any questions. Okay. So great to see you guys here. Thank you for coming. Please, when you're thinking about if you do apply, when you write your cover letter, please let us know some of the things, some skill sets you have, things you're interested in contributing to our program, perspective, skills, interests, etc., the ways in which you can help build our program proactively, and things that you think might be good to enhance the program. We welcome those and want to find, like I said, a group of folks with some complementary skills and interests. That's our goal. So applications are due April 15th, I believe, by 5 or so, end of day. Please be sure to get them in on time, because we need to start reviewing them shortly thereafter. And I'm excited to get applications and get to meet some of you I haven't met before, and work more closely with those I do know. So thank you so much, and hope you guys have a terrific weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.